Peter Thiel is palantir? Or is Alex Karp palantir? Hey Siri, who is Peter Thiel? I wanted to start a new series on my channel, given everything going on, where every week we talk about things that matter, stuff that's happened in history, things that are happening currently. I thought we could, quote, wake up while I do my makeup.
Wake up! Grab right, put a little makeup!
Obviously, this will evolve over time. A big part of my time spent offline is trying to learn about the history of what's happened in our world, the things that are going on now, and what history tells us about current day society, politically, socially, and just everything that's going on in this world. I think that a lot of us recognize that it's not going so good. So today, I thought it would be important to talk about what pertains so much to what's going on right now. And that is something that I have seen left, right, and center. Whether you know or not, I'm learning about it today with you. And that is censorship and digital ID. In full transparency, my husband did a lot of the research for this video. This is kind of where he shines. I'm just really the person researching it along with you. So we're gonna learn together. I'm gonna do my makeup while we learn about digital ID. You may click this video and be like, dude, no, stay in your lane. Well, my lane is I'm a human being living on planet Earth at the same time that you are. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are also human beings living on this earth that do what it takes to gain power. And in that gained power, utilizing the rest of us people in total control. When you talk about things that are going on in the world, often you're called a conspiracy theorist. Now, what's funny is I had a really negative, idea about conspiracy theories and stuff like that because, there's a certain type of person that's generally associated with being interested in conspiracies.
Putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
You start to get a little side eye and you're like, wait a minute, what has been true and what isn't true? Because there's a lot of untruths out there. Like, this is the internet, especially in the age of AI. You see stuff like literally one of my best friends sent me like 14 AI videos. Had no idea that they were AI. There's a lot of fake shit out there. And anytime anything happens, 500 million conspiracy theories start going on top of it. But there are some things that sound like a conspiracy theory, but are just true. And digital ID is one of them. History tends to repeat itself. I'm not saying history is all bad. But we are seeing unprecedented levels of censorship, control, and I think apathy, which leads to this being really easy to implement because I think the more apathetic people get, the more likely they are to just not resist and not care. I have a big problem with the level of apathy that we're seeing on the internet, and the reality is that this thing causes apathy because you don't care. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, another conspiracy. Like, just do it already. Just censor us already. Oh my god, if you don't want to hear from us, just freaking track me already. Like, who cares? They're tracking us anyway. Literally, what does it even make a difference? They have our phone. They can track me anyway. And I think that mindset is, I hate to say the mindset that they want. Who are they? I don't know. The royal they. The governments, the WEF, the World Economic Forum. There's all kinds of different people out there that at the top level are making the decisions that trickle down and affect the rest of us.
Back to trickle down economics, it didn't trickle.
And I think that this is where you get into that conspiracy theorist mindset where it's like, oh, everybody's out to get me. And it's not to say that everybody's out to get you, but actually the sad fact is that we're not guessing. This is out of their mouths. They say it. I didn't say it. They say it.
The future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room.
We have now a window of opportunity to create this global reset which we all need.
Well, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us.
I'm not the one making it up. You're making it up. I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
But I'm not crazy. She's crazy. I'm not crazy, she's crazy.
We'll tone it down a little bit, do a little makeup at the same time while we learn about the shit that our corrupt governments are doing to us. I want it to be lighthearted, but it's just so dystopian and awful that it's not lighthearted. And we say the words dystopian, we say the words like nightmare, we say all of these things, but then when it comes down to it, do we resist it? Or do we just accept that this is just the way it is? What am I even supposed to do? And I think that this thing has caused a lot of us to see a cascade of events in real time and to see how quickly, if rights are taken away at the same time as things are rolled out, when you resist, the rights are taken away. And then a lot of people just don't resist because they're like, well, I have to work. Like, what do you want me to do? And it's like, I think that a lot of times that's sort of the hope. And I hate to make it sound like the government is just out to get us, but like, I'm not going to pretend that the billionaires who are hiring other tech billionaires, who are hiring other tech billionaires that are obsessed with the Antichrist, who are hiring other tech billionaires to surveil everybody, that they have our best interest at heart. Well, and that's very clear. So actually, interestingly, I'll take this to myself real quick and then we're going to do a little bit of research. I speak about Palestine all the time on my Instagram. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram and you want to know, does she care about Gaza? You bet I do. And I speak about it constantly over there. But interestingly, within this last week, something happened.
But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media.
And I noticed that all of my posts, both on my feed and on my stories, immediately became suppressed. It was almost like a concerted effort, if you will, by either AI algorithms or what have you, to censor any voices that may have pro-Palestine leanings. This is all speculation. I can't say that whether this is 100% true or not, but I had many people in my DMs saying that this happened to them too, and that they can agree that it seems, if nothing else, that there is a soft block method to kind of silence voices that may have anti-Israeli leaning. And so this comes along the heels of me also seeing this week that there is a ton of pro-Israeli propaganda being released online, and that is obviously by Israel trying to save face in the wake of the Palestinian genocide, literally wiping out just thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people, mainly children, families, communities, the entirety of the Gaza Strip. I've seen a whole bunch of times this week that there will be a bunch of Israeli bots kind of going through, and in my DMs, I can confirm, I almost instantaneously went from a pro-Palestine stance in my DMs to almost all pro-Israeli, which I find fascinating because my followers at this point, people who support Zionism or the genocide in Gaza, most of them have left because it's very clear where my stance is. And interestingly, suddenly out of the blue, they're all back and they're all mad at me for saying free Palestine. This comes along the heels at the same time of the UK classifying pro-Palestinian protests as terrorism. That sets an unbelievable, horrifying precedent for all of us. And it should be absolutely unacceptable to every single citizen ever that this is happening, because while my husband wrote it down, what is socially acceptable for you today might put you in prison tomorrow. Today's freedom fighter or protester could be tomorrow's terrorist. UK with Palestine Action and USA with Antifa. So both of these things have recently been classified as terrorism. Today that might be an organization that you disagree with and you think, good, get rid of them. And then tomorrow it might be an organization that you agree with and that you are out protesting with. And now you might be considered a terrorist because all they have to do is reclassify what that means, and tomorrow it could be you. So it sets a really scary precedent in a really awful time that we have to be really diligent not to support this kind of authoritarian psychotic behavior, that it is okay to silence voices that we don't like because tomorrow your voice could be the one that they don't like. And you have to be okay with things being said that you are disagreeing with. So Trump is the president right now. Okay, so he might silence left-leaning voices or radical leftists, as he might call it. And so all the people on the right might be like, yeah, get them. Well, what if in 4 years a Democrat becomes president and then they start silencing all the right-leaning voices? Are you for it then? You're only for it when it silences the voices that you don't like to hear. But we can't silence any voices ever. And I think that's a really important point that we all have to come to agreement on. Otherwise, we're doomed as a society. And we're seeing this right now in the UK. People out protesting the Palestinian genocide, and they are sitting on the side of the street with their signs silently protesting and saying, we don't like genocide. And they're like, prison. And then a guy walks up and says, am I allowed to say that I'm for genocide? And they're like, you can say anything you won't. And he says, okay, well, I love genocide. And they're like, you can say that. He's like, but if I said free Palestine, they're like, prison?
I'm supporting the war crimes of Netanyahu, and I'm wondering if you'll arrest me?
No.
You've got freedom of expression, freedom of speech. That's all I've got to say.
I'm supporting a genocide, and I'm not getting arrested. She is protesting against a genocide. She is getting arrested.
So I'm against the genocide. They're going to arrest me. You've been walking around telling the police you support genocide, you support the killing of Palestinian women and children, and they're not arresting you.
I can walk completely free.
It's ridiculous.
I'm supporting the Israeli government and supporting a genocide, and I'm not getting arrested, but you're getting arrested. But you're okay for me openly to say that I support a genocide?
You've got a freedom of speech, right to say what you want.
Let me come clean. I don't actually support the Israeli government. How could you support the Israeli government considering what's happening in Gaza right now? If we care about our human rights, we must defend our right to protest against genocide.
This is real, actually real. It's not a Black Mirror episode, sadly. This is real reality and we are living in it. And if we do not resist, this becomes our reality. We can't let apathy cause us to get to a point where we are not resisting a tyrannical government overreach. This is just the beginning of what I think the digital ID and mass surveillance via Palantir can do. This isn't just an American issue, this is a global issue. You know, like I said, in the UK, Canada, all over the place, people are seeing this happening. I mean, this is not just an us issue. This is just at the cusp of the beginning. And now surveillance is being used for a long time, like, you know, with reading license plates to give people tickets when they drive too fast on a road. A lot of these things are in the guise of trying to protect the people with like pre-crime. A lot of people are not going to oppose it because it's going to feel like it's there to protect us and keep us safe. So you have to remember that a lot of times they create the problem so they can sell you the solution and get you on board to the solution. Now this is where the people will start to be like, okay, you're losing me. But hold on, does it not make sense that they will show you things? They will allow mass immigration and then they'll show you the worst things that happened. They'll attribute them all to immigrants and then say, we have to use digital ID shut down so that we can keep our country safe from all these immigrants. Does that not make sense? And then who's gonna be there sitting there agreeing with that? All the boomers, all the people who remember what society used to feel like when it was safe. They will willingly get on board to a system that they wouldn't have agreed to in the past because, well, we got to get out all these illegals. And so that's a huge part of it. Getting people on board to something. They wouldn't have agreed to this before. They would have probably opposed it because they understand, they've seen tyrannical government. They've seen government overreach. They've seen how the government isn't to be trusted in so many different ways. I mean, come on. Like, we all know it. Being opposed to an authoritarian government overreach is, people see that as like, okay, crazy, okay, you're all anti-government. Tell me when the government has ever done something that you are like, you know what, you guys are crushing it with taking care of people. Are they just taking care of all of the unhoused people, all the homeless people?
No.
Are they taking care of the veterans?
No.
Are they taking care of the potholes? Cleaning up the drugs on the streets? Are they taking care of their citizens? Are they offering free social programs? Are they offering free schooling?
No. No, no, no.
Are they offering help to their citizens? Are they offering paid maternity leave?
Hell no.
They're offering, you get to fucking work until you die. And basically, you know what? We're going to raise the retirement age from 62 because you know what? You need to work longer.
My fingers hurt.
Now your back's going to hurt. Because you just pull landscaping duty.
And you know what? You want social programs? Okay, leeching off the system much. Oh, and you want free healthcare? Nothing's free in this country. Actually, your health insurance is going to be $1,500 a month. You know how much they're going to cover? Fucking nothing. School lunches? You got to pay 5-year-old for your school lunch, or else you don't get to eat today. That's what we're doing. So let's not pretend like these guys have our best interest at heart. And really, these are not the people that we want surveilling our every move. And people will say, first and foremost, and this is the main tagline that gets said over and over and over again, if you don't have anything to hide, then what does it matter? I saw a perfect YouTube comment that summed it up, and it said, I need privacy, not because my actions are questionable, but because your judgment and intentions are. And that sums it up perfectly. What are they using all of this information for? Why do they need to know everywhere you've been, everything you've said, everything you've eaten, every person you've talked to, everybody you've communicated with? Is it for safety? You think they care about your safety? Director Silky Carlo said, the prospects of enrolling even children into the sprawling biometric ID system is sinister, unjustified, and prompts the chilling question of just what Starmer's government think the digital ID will be used for in the future. At a time when parents are taking a critical view as whether children should have smartphones, it is shocking that the government is considering enrolling children into this digital ID app. The Liberal Democrats said the consultation on offering digital ID to 13-year-olds showed they had been right to warn about mission creep. It is frankly sinister, unnecessary, and a clear step towards state overreach, said the party's science and technology spokesperson Victoria Collins. So people are protesting this left and right in the UK.
What if I told you your phone is about to become your ID, whether you like it or not? Well, it's all part of a controversial government plan to try and discourage illegal migrants.
Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Well, the government says digital ID will be compulsory for everyone in the UK, but you won't actually have to use it, to carry it, or show it to anyone unless you're applying for a job. The ID will be held on your phone, like the NHS app or a bank card, and it'll include your name, date of birth, nationality or residency status, and a photo, and possibly your address as well. By the end of 2029, you'll have to show it to your employer to prove you have the right to work in the UK, or they could be prosecuted. The government says it'll also make life easier when applying for services like driving licenses, childcare or benefits. All European countries have ID cards. Some of them, like Estonia, have digital ones too.
If somebody's going to work for 20 quid a day in a kebab shop, they're going to do that digital ID or no digital ID. Nobody voted for this. This wasn't in the Labour manifesto. And I think there are millions of people in the public who will say, I will simply not do this. This is un-British. We are not a checkpoint society. We don't carry papers and we don't like this sort of thing.
So is this the end of digital privacy in the UK, or a smart tech solution to the problem of illegal migration? Do you think it would even work? Let us know what you think.
And this isn't just a UK issue. They're talking about it in the United States. They're talking about it. I mean, this is, I think, a global issue. It's not just that I think it, it's that they say it. They talk about it at the WEF summit, which all of these people go to. We're talking like, you know, the Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau was there. He was like one of the young global leaders for the WEF. Trump goes. This is, you know, Klaus Schwab and all of these tech billionaires. They're all there talking about us and basically what they can do to roll out new things so that you'll own nothing and you'll be happy about it.
This is Klaus Schwab. He's the executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, an exclusive organization for the world's most influential people.
Around 1/3 of the members are CEOs of multinational companies, 1/3 are leaders of international organizations and governments, and 1/3 are from civil society, forming a truly multi-stakeholder community.
His members include powerful heads of state, from Joe Biden and Keir Starmer to the President of the People's Republic of China.
We are working closely together with governments from around the world, including all G20 countries.
One big club and you're not in it. And all the rich, powerful leaders get together and they talk about basically how to control the world. I mean, basically, not basically. So my husband had written this down. I'm just going to read it verbatim because mama ain't good at doing this stuff herself. It said, social credit algorithms are proprietary and secretive. So basically proprietary means, you know, when a company says, oh, we have a proprietary blend, what they're saying is it's classified, it's secret. And we're not going to tell you what our 15 herbs and spices are. And they don't tell you what you are doing wrong, keeping you in a constant state of unease and wanting to do anything to bring your score back up. Are you in favor of Palestine or in favor of Israel? Are you Christian and you didn't show up to church on Sunday? Are you a Trump supporter? Are you a Democrat? Are you on the left? Did you miss work for a day? Did you choose to skip your dentist appointment? Have you ever been pulled over? Have you ever said anything in your car that you wouldn't want saved in a database and used to judge you? There are ample reasons to feel concerned and suspect about there being a digital ID system. And I think the scary part for me, at least, is that I think that when push comes to shove, even if you feel like you oppose a digital ID system right now, you will probably end up getting it because you will be quote unquote forced to get it. And it's not a forcing of like, you must get it or you'll die. It's like, well, if you want to have a job, you have to have digital ID because we have to confirm that it's you. We have to confirm your identity. If you want to be able to have a bank account, well, then you have to have digital ID. And like I said, I'm not making this up. This isn't coming out of the brains of a conspiracy theorist. I don't call myself a conspiracy theorist. I hear something, I look it up, and then I use my brain to have discernment on whether or not that feels like it could be true. Does it feel like I'm being kind of coerced into this thinking?
Please earn more money for us to spend. Earn lots of money for us to buy lots of.
Anyway, I think what I was saying before I was interrupted by somebody who wants all my money is that I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be somebody who is black-pilled to the world and sees everything in such a negative light. But the reality of the situation is that I've heard it said like this: you may not be thinking about them being the government, the technocracy, the tech lords that are going to be using your data for whatever reason, but they're thinking about you. So whereas you don't want to care, they care. And so we have to care in some regard, because if we don't, we're fucked. Because it's a slow burn. And I think that that's something that a lot of people have this idea that there's going to be some big event that happens that, you know, feels like, oh, here it is, here's the end. But I don't think there is going to be a big event. I think it's going to be such a slow burn that you're going to accept all of these things because they happen so gradually that over the course of time, you didn't even really think about it that much. It's just one thing here, one thing there, one right taken away here, one right taken away there, to the point where you get to the end and you're like, well, fuck. But I actually don't think people will say, well, fuck. I think that it might be like, this is just the way it is now. And I think the thing that we have to remember is it doesn't have to be. That sounds really simplistic, because it kind of is in a lot of ways. Like, it's kind of ridiculous to think that, you know, a small group can make a change, but sort of a bug's life shows it, you know what I mean? Like, there's more ants than grasshoppers, and we're the ants and they're the grasshoppers.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1.
I do think, though, that we will get to a point where you are backed into a corner of accepting these things, and unless the huge majority of us resist, then I think that these things will just become commonplace, and our children will grow up in a world where biometric ID and having to have a digital ID for everything that we do will be just commonplace, and being surveilled by your government is just commonplace, and people just accept it. And, you know, I mean, just look at the UK. I'm not trying to continually use the UK as an example, but if you don't know what's going on over there, then you might just think like, well, everything's fine. You know, they have a queen and a king and they have a monarchy. But is that what's happening? Or is it that they're being arrested for simply wanting to exist and for protesting murdering children? Like, where are we at in society where we are hearing that happening and being like, well, this is kind of what No, we can't normalize that behavior. Otherwise, this becomes our reality. And I think the apathy that I speak about, if you don't know what apathy is, it's not giving a shit. It's not caring. It's feeling like, well, what are we going to do? What can we even do? It's certainly never the answer to take up arms and, that's not what I'm talking about. It's resisting when you're told you have to do something. You don't have to. And if enough of us resist, I think we can make a difference. I don't really know how that's done, and I don't have the answer, because especially when it's like, to have a bank account, you have to have a digital ID. I don't know what to do. I think people will be pushed to it, and you're between a rock and a hard place. So let's watch some videos about it so that we can hear what other people have to say.
Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
And the first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model.
I just have to stop to say, this man is a skinwalker. This dude is a freak, brother.
Attitudes that were obviously stupid, you could...
You're getting wealthy off of killing Palestinians with palantir kills Palestinians with their AI and technology.
Oh.
You're killing my family in Palestine.
Yeah.
Can we get security up there?
Your AI and your technology from Palantir kills Palestinians.
Mostly terrorists, that's true.
Palantir CEO Alex Karp has been an arch supporter of Israel's war on Gaza. Oh, cool. This company has provided the Israeli army with AI technology to help strike targets in occupied Palestine.
I believe she believes I'm evil. I believe she's an unwitting product of an evil force, Hamas. That she unwittingly is part of their strategy, that she is a product. And the most important thing, arguably, in the book, or what Palantir, or what you could learn, is do not become a product of an ideology that sounds sensible.
You are a demon, you are a demon, walking on earth looking like you're in a psychosis. Why'd they all look the part? You know what I'm saying? Like, the crazy hair and the look in his eye. So if you don't know who Palantir is, Palantir has been recently hired by the American government to create a database to surveil every United States citizen. Palantir has been long significant contractor for the US government, providing its data analytics and AI software to numerous federal agencies. This relationship has expanded further with several major contracts signed in 2025, primarily under the Trump administration. So the US Army, $10 billion in August 2025. The Army awarded Palantir a contract worth $10 billion over 10 years. The agreement consolidates 75 separate contracts into a single deal. The goal is to provide a comprehensive framework for the Army's software and data needs, leveraging AI for efficiency and readiness. The Department of Defense, DoD, $795 million. In May 2025, the DoD boosted its Maven Smart Systems contract with Palantir by $795 million to enhance AI capabilities. It's part of a larger multi-year deal. For U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, in April 2025, Palantir received a $30 million contract to build a new database system called Immigration OS. This system will consolidate data from various federal agencies to track the movements of undocumented immigrants. The U.S. Department of Treasury, in September 2025, the Treasury awarded a contract to Palantir to improve its data integrity and technical infrastructure. The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, following an executive order in March 2025, President Trump directed federal agencies to provide data access to the newly formed DOGE, which in turn directs it to Palantir's AI database. The initiative is meant to streamline efficiencies through AI. We all know how good AI is. Other key government clients: the CIA, the FBI, the CDC, the NIH, the FDA, the HHS, and the State Department. Palantir's extensive involvement with the U.S. government has raised significant concerns, particularly regarding data privacy and civil liberties. Critics and lawmakers have questioned the consolidation of data across agencies and the potential for misuse and mass profiling. Democratic lawmakers formally demanded answers from Palantir in 2025 about its plans for an IRS mega database of American citizens.
This is Alex Karp at the World Economic Forum in 2023 talking about
WEF.
the primary goal of Palantir.
Go for it. Then we were asked if we were willing to supply our product philanthropically, basically, for free, and I was very in favor of this because our primary mission is, in fact, to set a global standard for the world for behavior.
To set a global standard for behavior, that means they want to control everything. And why is it that the guys that want to control everything, the majority of them look like that guy?
This is Alex Karp.
No. The top comment on that is, if you're not paying for it, who's the product? Oh, it's all of them. Peter Thiel, Stephen Cohen, Joe Lonsdale, and Alex Karp. Okay, so I was going to say, I thought Peter Thiel was Palantir, but he is. So let's see here.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right?
Well...
You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would...
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions and forth to this.
It's just really hard to answer whether I want humans to survive or not. I mean...
You tell me a story about the Antichrist coming to power and using the fear of technological change to sort of impose order on the world. I feel like that Antichrist would maybe be using the tools that you were building, right? Like, wouldn't the Antichrist be like, great, we're not going to have any more technological progress, but I really like what Palantir has done so far, right?
Yeah,
I mean, isn't that a concern? Wouldn't that be the irony of history would be that the man publicly worrying about the Antichrist accidentally hastens his or her arrival?
There are all these different scenarios. I obviously don't think that that's what I'm doing.
Obviously,
I mean, to be clear, I don't think that's what you're doing either. I'm just interested in how you get to a world willing to submit to permanent authoritarian rule. Tell me a story.
Good question. So the reason that we care about Peter Thiel and the reason that we care about Larry Ellison and Alex Karp and all of these people is not because we sit around fearing them. It is because The government is hiring them. And they're hiring these people with these crazy ideologies that believe in this psychotic shit, that are obsessed with the Antichrist, that are obsessed with controlling the population in the way that we behave and think and act. And it's not that these are just random outliers, that these are hired by our government to surveil us. And when they surveil us and they see what we're thinking, who's to say that today's freedom fighter isn't tomorrow's prisoner? You know, like, you're out there and you have thoughts and feelings and you matter, and your thoughts and feelings are your own and you're allowed to have them. And part of having a brain is being able to think, and part of thinking is being able to speak, and part of speaking is being able to say things that might go against the status quo, or might go against what people think is okay to say, might go against what the popular rhetoric is at that time. And that is the point. That is the point. You should be able to say anything that you want, and you should be able to think anything that you want without being put in prison for those thoughts, or even the idea that you might have those thoughts, like pre-crime. And so the reality is that we all know this is bad, and we all feel it. And I think there is a general unease that's going on. And, you know, I even noticed the other day I said something around my phone and I whispered it. And I thought, how weird that I'm in my home alone and I'm whispering around my phone because I know it's listening. So I allow this device to sit on my lap, listening to me speak, knowing that it is surveilling me, and I'm okay with it. So when people say, I won't do it, won't you? Aren't we right now? And I think that's a lot of people's thing. Well, I already have been and nothing's changed. Once we comply, that's it. It is not a right we will get back. It is not something they will take away. As soon as they've gotten us into this digital ID system, that's it forever. So we have to know that if you say, okay, I'm gonna go along with it, that's the rest of humanity. We're not gonna go back. And I don't know if resisting will even work. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't even know. I don't really have the answer. I wish I did. I wish that as I was sitting here, I was like, okay, so here's what we can do. You know, I see people in the UK, and, you know, heaven forbid, I'm not telling anybody to do this, but people are over there cutting down the surveillance machines and saying, no, you will not record me. And, you know, those auditors or people walking around the street telling people that they have to pay their fines, or that you have to do this, or that you're being arrested, like, and they're saying, no, I will not be. And you're using your ability to be a free human being on this earth to say, like, I'm not going to comply with your authoritarian system. Like, I'm not doing it. And make no mistake, it's going to be really hard to say no, because fish gotta swim, birds gotta eat. It's gonna be hard to say no, because it's gonna be, the easy thing to do is going to be to just accept it, because that's just the way it is now. And if you're okay with it, I mean, that's your choice. Everybody has to make their own choice. But I feel, and I can feel it in my plums.
I can feel it down in my plums. They're getting a nice bluish hue.
That it might not be the right choice to accept tyranny by a bunch of technocratic billionaires. But hey, that's just me. With the censorship that I've seen on my Instagram, not being able to even reach my audience, not being able to talk about Palestine without my stories being suppressed to my viewers, you know, it's out of their mouths. They said it, and they said that they wanted to do it. They said that they're going to have to start targeting TikTok, buying TikTok, controlling the narrative, making sure that support for Israel is increasing and not decreasing. You know, there's a lot of bad PR around Israel right now, and rightfully so. Those Zionist talking points, they really got to get through somehow. So how are they going to do that? Well, they're going to buy social media, and they're going to control the narrative. And I think the thing that a lot of us have to remember too, I posted something this morning. I actually took a screenshot of it because it was really, really important. This is from Avellino Farms. The real danger isn't that we disagree. It's that the algorithms have made sure we don't even live in the same reality anymore. That is so painfully true. I don't think you and me even know the same world exists anymore. I saw another thing this morning that said, we used to say BRB, and now we live on the internet and we have to BRB into real life. It's not like we're just saying, oh, be right back. The internet is our reality. To escape from our reality, we actually put down our phone instead of pick up our phone, because we are so chronically online now that we are the internet. We are online. And it's scary because we don't have the same algorithms. We don't have the same internet. I was actually talking to a mom recently that came to my harvest party, and she was talking about all the things that she was seeing on the internet and things that were making her scared. And I thought, I haven't seen a single one of those. My algorithm is so completely different. It was almost like completely opposing viewpoints. Hers obviously going to her biases and my algorithm going to mine. I'm realizing we're not even on the same internet. So some of you watching this might know what I'm talking about. Some of you might think I sound absolutely insane. All of this is provable true, and everything that I talked about will be listed down below. This is out of their mouth, so you really can't say that this is conspiracy, because it might have been 20 years ago. And today it's just confirmed reality. And so many things that were once called conspiracy are now just confirmed by the CIA, or, you know, the government's just like, oh yeah, we totally did do that. And you're like, oh, but you said you didn't. And they're like, yeah, but well, we did. So you all called me crazy. I'm not the crazy one. And I always knew it. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. I'm not crazy. You're crazy. We're gonna do this every week. This is gonna be a show that we have going on here.
It's time to play the game.
We're going to end off this video with this quote from C.S. Lewis. Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims might be the most oppressive. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty might sometimes sleep. His cupidity may at some point be satiated. But those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. They may be more likely to go to heaven, yet at the same time likelier to make a hell of earth. This very kindness stings with intolerable insult. To be cured against one's will and cured of states which we may not regard as disease is to be put on a level of those who have not yet reached the age of reason, or who never will. To be classed with the infants, imbeciles, and domestic animals. And I think that's such a good quote, because we don't need to be cured. Your thoughts are not illegal. You're allowed to think. You're allowed to feel. You should be allowed to live without being watched every second of every day. And I think Zach finished off his research for me perfectly with who watches the Watchmen. And that's a really good question. And the answer is that we do. Oftentimes, having a social media platform has felt pointless in many ways, because I feel like before I couldn't talk about any of this stuff without being classified a specific way, without being told that you are paranoid or a conspiracy theorist. I no longer care to be classified in these ways, because I'm going to be classified no matter what. And if I say nothing, then I am nothing. I'm okay with also learning new information and changing my mind. I believe in that. I believe that I'm able to learn new information and change my mind daily. And what I say in today's video, I don't want to be held to. I want to learn, and every day I learn new information, and I can grow and change. And I feel like the more we know, the more prepared that we can be when something inevitably comes out. You'd be like, wait, I heard about that. It's coming true now? Yeah, some of it will, and some of it won't, because such is the nature of the internet, like I said before, where you don't really get to choose what you see. Algorithms choose, but also people sensationalize everything. But that's why I'm taking this information and condensing it down into what they say. We're not talking about what somebody just made up. There's a lot of that out there. Let's go off of what's out of the mouths of the people that are owning the industries, out of the mouths of the politicians, out of the mouths of Trump, out of the people that they're hiring, out of the billions of dollars being sent and spent to surveil our every move. And whether or not we just lay down and take it, or if we resist and say no, and we do not allow our voices to get silenced based on who decides that that voice is illegal today. Because it may be your opponent right now, but in the future, it may be you. And, you know, like classifying, you know, Palestinian protesters as terrorists, and then classifying Antifa as terrorists, they can classify anything as anything. And then what's legal today might be illegal tomorrow and put you in jail. And so that's why we have to be careful. It's a slippery slope. You can't just be okay with authoritarian fascism takeover, because this is what happens. We've seen it in history, and absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. They've said it, we know it. And then a lot of people, because of this little box in my hand and the way that it is fed fear and information overload to our brains, it makes our brains unable to care. And it makes people say, oh, fuck it, I'll just get it. I'll get it because I have to go to work and I have to feed my family. And I can't care about what Alex Karp cares about. I can't care about Peter Thiel. And I think that's kind of the hope, that you'll be so tired and so exhausted. I cannot do this right now. I'm just gonna do it so that I can just carry on living my life, because I got bills to pay. I got kids to feed. And it's true. If we all have that mentality, our rights get taken away, and then what? And then we just live in that reality. And I fear that's where we're headed. And we've all seen the movies, and we all agree when there's the guy on the other side and we're like, yeah, don't go for it. You know, V for Vendetta. We all look at that and we're like, yeah. And then when it's us, we're like, well, but not me, you know? So I just thought this would be good to do so that we can wake up together. We all need to wake up a little bit. We all need to get off of our phones and into the reality of that these people up at the top who control every aspect from the top down, who use our tax dollars to fund things like genocide, we have to know what they're thinking, because they sure as hell want to know what you're thinking. So we need to know what they're thinking as well. And I think it's important that we do. So, all right, well, that's it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this completely different style video for me. And I will see you next week at this same time of this next installment of Let's Put On Some Makeup While We Wake Up. All right, I will see you at my next video. Bye. We got our son Mr. Yuck stickers. He had a good time putting them on everything in my makeup room. But interestingly, otherwise we're doomed as a society. I gotta change my battery before it dies. Whole place. What's up?
Earn more money for us to spend. Earn lots of money for us to buy lots of cool stuff.
Yeah? What makes you say that? What do you want?
I want lots of cool toys.
Earn more money so I can spend it? Bro, if there's ever been anything that a kid has said that is more true than that statement right there, can you please like just earn more money so I can spend it all on toys? Thanks. Is that true? Is it true? Those who torment us of Department of Government official, dear Jesus, particularly regarding, am I okay? Peter Thiel is Palantir. Or is Alex Karp Palantir? Hey Siri, who is Peter Thiel?